Welcome to this video on how to get rid of artifacts and how to sort columns in Power Query. Actually, I'm going to do an Excel demonstration and then a Power Query demonstration. Imagine we come to this page on Wikipedia, the list of the largest biomedical companies by revenue. That's a nice and straightforward, simple table, but there's lots of odds and ends in there. The one I'm worried about is these references here. You'll see in a second. What I'm going to do then is copy that URL, go to Excel, and then using data from web, paste the URL into there and click OK. Then you have to wait a few seconds, maybe a minute or two. It depends on your connection. So actually it's quite quick. I did this earlier and it took maybe 2 minutes to download. But anyway, here we are. Take a look at the tables that are available. Document, rarely need that one. Ranking by revenue, this is the table we're interested in. Table 1, what is that? Is it of any interest? And same with this one, table 2, table 3. Maybe there's some use for them, but not for you and me. So we want the ranking by revenue. Click on transform data because I know I have to transform the data, and here it is. Now let's have a look at what's happened. Here's all the data: rank, change, company, country, traded on, the market that it's traded on. And can you see, really handily, it's got rid of those citations. Let's just check that that's true. There you are. So in the table on the web, it had 100.33 square bracket, number 1 square bracket. So they're not there. So that problem has gone for us, which is really good news. And I'll show you why when we do the Excel demonstrations, why that's such good news. Is there anything that we need to do? This is an accounting matrix, that's what I call them, where you've got column headers, row headers on the left-hand side, and then the data on the right-hand side. Typically for accountants, latest year on the left, previous year, and so on. What I want now, by the way, I often do that, not leave it alone, work from there, but I want to flip those data columns, and I want to have 2013 on the left, 14, 15 to 2022. This is how to do that. I'm changing the name of one or two columns, this one, so I can make it a little bit easier to understand. I've renamed this query Biomed by Revenue, and I've created an M code for reordering the columns. Let's have a look at that. Table reorder columns, and it's come, as you can see in the applied steps there. I renamed the column, by the way, from CHG to change. Here, change name, renamed, and then I put them in the order in which I want to see them. So that's all I do. So my code looks like this now. Let source, that's the web page which it's got it from, source, the table, change type, it did that for me. Rename the column, that's this one, so I changed the name from CHG to change, and then I reorder the columns, table reorder columns, renamed columns, I think that means including the rename, this one, including this one, rank, change, company, all the way across, and this is the order in which I want to see them from 2013 on the left to 22 on the right. So that's done now, and I can home, close and load 2, because I want to put it in sheet 1. I don't want to create another sheet, although no big problem if you do. Click OK. And there we are. We've not brought in those footnote references. They disappeared automatically. And we've reordered the columns. We've changed the name of that column. Didn't need to. It's a minor thing. And there are no errors. There we are. That's the Power Query solution. I now want to show you the Excel solution because you might prefer that, although it is a bit more long-winded. So let's see that. For the Excel solution, what I do is, or what I did, I came to this same page and I simply copied and pasted the text. I'm pasting the text in my own way, the way that I always do it, in that way. But you see two problems. Number one, the order of the columns, not so serious, we can deal with it. But then this is the major problem. All those footnote references don't disappear in it. Let's see how I got rid of them. You can see in this cell here, F6, what I've done is I've copied the data. There's the original with all the errors. And I've simply copied that tab in its entirety. And then I'm replacing the hard-coded value here with the footnote reference with this formula, which I'll explain now. Let me prove that it works. And it does. And it does. The only thing is the way I use if error, I put a dash or a hyphen there, and I just need to do that to make it look a little bit tidy. Notice it's still out of order. I'll deal with that in a second. So what's my formula? Let's put it here. If error, I'm going to work from the center of this function outwards. What I did was initially, I need to find out how long, I need to know the length of this cell. And the way I chose to do that is as follows. I asked Excel to find that square bracket, the first square bracket, and to give me its position in the cell, and it's 3, 4, 5, 6. It's position 7. I then asked it to find me the closing square bracket, which is in position 7, 8, 9, and I do that this way. That's find the opening square bracket in F6, find the closing square bracket. So it's nice and straightforward. In the final version, you find the closing bracket first because it's got the higher value. I then subtract the value of the opening bracket, which has got the lower value, 9 minus 7, and then I add 1. So position 9, position 7, the difference is 2, but actually it represents three characters. So it's closing bracket position 9, open bracket position 7, take the second from the former, add 1, and there's your 3. Then I find the length of the entire cell and I subtract from it the 3 that I've just found. Or 1, 2, 3 here, but when you get to double figures, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you get to treble figures, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my program, my formula expands to allow for the number of numbers inside the square brackets. It's really quite simple, although it looks a long-winded thing to do, but the logic's quite straightforward. So I did that, but then what happened? I got the numbers. I got the numbers, but they weren't values. So what I did was then I wrapped the value function around that calculation. But then that gave me errors here when it couldn't find the answer, and it gave me value errors. So all I did to tidy that up was to put the if error around the value, which has gone around that quite basic calculation to find the length of the number itself. I think you'll find it's not difficult. And what I've done is I could have done this maybe in a different way, all on the same sheet, but I chose to have the data here and then my solution here. And finally, I need to do this, equals, and then fill that right, Control Shift and right arrow, then Control R. And now I've linked the column headers to this Excel sheet as well. And then here's how to reorder columns in Excel. It's a nice feature if you don't know it. You do the following. You select the whole table, the column header included, all the way down. So that's the entire table, not the stuff on the left-hand side, which I don't need to reorder. And click on the home, click on home, sort and filter, custom sort, then make sure if it's true that your data has headers, and it is true. In options, you tell it to sort from left to right as opposed to top to bottom. Sort left to right, click OK, and now tell it that you want to sort row 5, whatever's in row 5, and you want it to go from smallest to largest, largest to smallest, or your own idea. In fact, we want smallest 2013 to largest 2022. Click OK. Bingo. You've now reordered that column, those columns, and in our solution here, we find exactly that has happened. I'll just tidy up a little bit. Don't need to see that. Put that back by all means, since you get a copy of this file. Just do a little bit of formatting. But there we are. And I've now got my nice, neat, tidy, clean table from a web page in Excel, in Power Query. Thank you for watching. Duncan Williamson.